and their markets. It's great to hear your perspective and also learn about some of the neat things your company's doing on the innovative side. And next, I'm pleased to welcome both a new speaker and a new company joining us at CCA, Jean-Luc Valente, JL, as most people call him, he says. He comes to us from Cisco, which is also doing some exciting things in the mobile world, particularly with its unique partnership with Ericsson. Together, these two companies are providing some exceptional new offerings, including virtual network, mobile optimization services, helping all of us prepare for the advanced services world and the quote-unquote 5G era. And there's no one better to tell us about that than about this partnership, especially as JL. He currently serves as Cisco's Vice President of Strategy for Service Provider Business, and also is the General Manager of the Cisco-Ericsson relationship. In this role, he heads Cisco's 5G strategy, he's the lead of the co-development and co-innovation activities of Cisco and Ericsson. So JL has been with Cisco, I think, since 2013. He has more than 30 years of experience in the wireless world and building. I offer to you Jean-Luc Valente, or JL, as many call him. JL? Thank you.
All right, good morning, everyone. Oh, bonjour, if I have to say something in French. That will be the only thing that I will say today, fortunately. So just picking up on the 5G side that was started this morning and discussed by Gordon. When we look at 5G, we really look at these two tales, two stories. One, consumers. One, businesses, society and industry, public sectors, industrial, and obviously corporate and enterprise. What I'm going to discuss is more on the consumer side. Because even though 5G first is ahead of us, it's an evolutionary path, there is a lot that needs to be done or can be done today in the context of a 4G environment, an LTE environment, leveraging obviously the assets and leveraging what we believe is the new voice, or has been the new voice for some time, the video. So there is, the whole piece here is how do we monetize, or what are the opportunities to differentiate locally, regionally, certainly nationally, with actually video. So that's the purpose of this presentation. So first, I don't have actually to go through those numbers. Certainly you see it in your network every day. You see it in the devices that you offer. In fact, there are more video-capable mobile devices today than any other consumer electronic on the market. In fact, look at the smartphones, look at the tablets, look at the PCs, look at obviously what you have home. I don't know if some of you have seen the Verizon 5G bus that was actually in Palo Alto last week. The windows of the bus turn into screens, and you can actually watch high definition, programs or content. You can even interact with it. It's tactile. So there are actually things coming out that really render that video much more. The other piece is the millennials, which is mentioned here. So all of the folks, born after 2000, 17 years of age right now, they don't spend that much money. That's not their money. That's their parents' money. But they're going to come of age. Those are actually also populations that you can capture. Loyalty program, personalization, specific content that makes sense to them. So there are a number of things that can be done. And that can be done in the context of an IP world, no longer in a video world that is siloed, that is complex to manage, complex to build and complex to operate. That's what we had in the past. Obviously, the solutions today have changed a lot. Just on that side as well, you may have heard of one of the most recent Indian service providers that came out, rural. They launched, it's called Reliance Jio, J-I-O. It launched, so it was a big investment, $15 billion of investment from one man. And they launched, it's a whole VoLTE, so it's all greenfield VoLTE, voice over Wi-Fi, was launched actually about 7 months ago. In 6 months, they captured 100 million subscribers. The average traffic, or the average download actually per month per user is 30 gigabit. There's a 3 exabytes of data per month that is coming on that network. So that network is suffering because also it's growing. They converted, so the 100 million, say, how did they get 100 million in 6 months? Was free. All free. And voice is free. Data rate is what they're gonna pay for, and it's a few cents per gigabit. That's what they pretty much are gonna get. It's $1.50 per month. So it's India, it's not the US. But really, what's driving all of that traffic? Video. That's all really there is. At least 90% of the traffic is video. So there's a lot of things that need to be done, obviously, to make sure that you sweat the assets. Obviously, they have a return on investment. They just actually they were able actually to launch commercial now offers, and they converted 70%, 70 million people in the first month have actually picked up the services. So the elements here is that obviously we have to pay attention. It's both an opportunity and a challenge when we look at obviously we look at video. We talked about the number of users, which is growing. The expectations of those users in terms of quality of experience are pretty high on video. Not just actually with content that was already there, but also with even live events. So there are a number of things that need to be done. The video quality is also actually getting better and better, whether it's 4K, whether it's HDR, or 60 FPS, all of the FPS, all of those elements are important. There is also this aspect of, as in others, offloading or leveraging actually not only a license, a macro or small cell, but also an unlicensed environment with Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi today obviously carry a lot of the traffic offloaded, and that has actually to be there, graciously being able to move from one to another when you do have actually those networks available. So network optimization or multi-network choices are part of what the intelligence can be built into network optimization for video. So that seamless experience is quite important. Venues as well. I mean, certainly a number of you offer certainly capabilities in venues, in stadiums. And in stadiums, people like to do replay using their devices or check other games at the devices as well, not just the score, more and more. So how do you provide all of those capabilities? And then the key point is that the mobile networks have not been built initially to really carry that much traffic that was video, and more of it. And I didn't even speak of virtual reality elements that are coming in, that you start seeing some of those programs 360 that are being built and made available. This obviously has a toll on the network. So it becomes very important, obviously, to look at the network optimization, but also figure out, okay, I'm going to put all of this investment, what kind of return can I get? So the whole point that we are covering is saying, first, are there monetization opportunities with the network, either for content distributors or content providers, if I'm not one of them? What can I do in terms of quality of experience, quality of service? What can I do in terms of subscriber, even quality of experience and maybe different data rates and so on, programs? Is there an opportunity for me, as I said earlier, for example, it becomes much easier today to have or to take even a turnkey cloud-based video distribution solution from the video processing, coding, encoding, the subscriber management for video, and then including the video distribution end-to-end, and those solutions exist. Cisco has one, Ericsson has one as well. Other players have actually in the market actually do that only for a living. So there are actually opportunities here to be able to personalize, given the knowledge that you have of the mobility subscribers. Is there an opportunity actually to deliver to specific audiences content, either it is unique or content that you package up for actually those different communities? And then clearly the piece as well that we have to take a look at is, okay, is there something else past actually the current TCP/IP connection-based type networks? What's behind that? And one of the certainly the efforts that have been in the industry for the past 10 years is around what we called information content networking. So the ICN element, information-centric networking, the element there of evolution and the solutions that are coming in are really designed to actually carry on as a flat network, pretty large content, and of course video is one of the key elements that can actually participate to that. So the first piece quickly here is around the quality of experience and the way this can be packaged up first to optimize capacity, to deliver a great experience to the users, both in terms of the network capacity, resilience to radio link failures, resilience to, or actually quality in terms of tuning even to a specific, so tuning time to specific channels, quality of the service. So the network element, the KPIs and the KQIs of that, and combine them with actually some of the video elements that you can tag at the source. And that's what we're saying here behind that, we're saying video has to be aware of the network. Can't be just a video, over the top in the IP world. A video-aware network, a video quality-aware network is important, leveraging and actually the analytics coming from the network, including from self-optimized networks, so SON, and be able actually to marry that with the quality or the KPIs coming from the video side, and be able to look at capacity, look at actually load balancing, look at the dynamic QoS, look at leverage other elements, including ABR, the adaptive bit rate in a dynamic fashion, and use some of these technologies, for example, multicast all the way to the aggregation, and then clearly being able to propagate that forward. So there are a number of elements, tagging content as well. There are a number of elements that you can do in the network without actually being a content provider, and actually either offer that to content providers to say, I can deliver you content better than anybody else for my subscriber base at a premium. And back to what we were saying earlier, you can then marry that with elements of policy and charging that you have in your mobility side. And you can do zero rate, obviously, elements. You can do advertising based. You can combine that with other programs. So there's a lot of capabilities that are available by integrating better both the elements of the video and the assets that you have clearly on the mobility side. The last piece, of course, that is there, even when we took an ICN or not, is that multi-access or mobile edge computing is getting more to a multi-access given the convergence potentially that we can get to in terms of access between fixed and mobile. But the key point here is that, how do we leverage? I talked about reliance. Clearly, one of the key areas is how can they offload or cache and offload as quickly as possible the content, potentially even at the cell site, as opposed to maybe going to, backhauling some of it when it's not theirs. Obviously, if you're a content provider or you're delivering some of those capabilities, you want to do the caching yourself. And so that's where actually the elements of mobile edge computing come in, caching, offloading, and then other things. Obviously, latency, low latency applications we discussed, virtual reality, augmented reality, et cetera. Those are important elements. But bringing those pieces together is very key. So what can we do with video quality of experience? We can first provide really service differentiator to the content publishers that are out there that may be working with you. The second piece is you can also become, as we see it, and give a few examples, become your own content publisher. Those platforms exist. We see actually many service MNOs taking on actually the delivery of content themselves, having their own, obviously, programs and offers in that area. And then, obviously, in that context, just also leveraging it with their own quality of experience, as well as joint marketing that they can do with those content, for example, the content creators, and providing the content publishing piece. So in this piece, as I said earlier, there are actually clearly key elements that you have to take into consideration. The first piece is around the content protection. If you obviously decide to take it on with distributed DRM, that is very important. So all of the aspect of security. The second point is obviously being able to take a turnkey system that can be cloud-based, as opposed to obviously building those things from scratch. They exist today. The way you can deploy it on premise, you can have it in cloud. I mean, everybody pretty much has these different hybrid type offerings that you can leverage. And then clearly, at the end of the day, there are also key aspects in terms of the distribution in different form factors, different devices, and offer linear video on demand, live events, etc., download, streaming that needs to come in. Just two examples, you can also do that. You don't have even to do that on your own network. You can do things as we've done here, both in terms of on-net and off-net. And you don't have to be an AT&T or the Vodafone to do this. We have actually, obviously, more regional carriers that have taken on those different offers, and maybe many of you already have those elements. There are an additional aspect of integration between the mobility and the video that you can leverage for, again, personalization, for monetization purposes, for advertising elements, et cetera. And that's really where the opportunity is. So what we're showing, for example, Vodafone has its own fixed and mobile subs today, but they also build an OTT, an over-the-top content offering that they're offering off-net to everybody. But it's still a Vodafone offering with its own branding, et cetera. And it has been launched actually a few months back, and it's doing very well. So I said also the network is evolving. Talk briefly about the fact that there are new protocols, new forwarding and routing that is coming in, the whole purpose of flattening the network, even more so when now you're bringing storage, compute in the fabric of the network. How are you going to manage it? If the level of complexity goes exponentially in managing all of those elements in something that people were not familiar with, it's never going to work. We have to flatten it. We have actually to make that fabric as one. And the whole purpose of ICN is really to bring storage, compute, and networking together, and actually security in a different kind of semantic that is actually associated with this piece. It eliminates one of the key points. The notion of anchor goes away, which is one of the key problems that we have today. So it's anchorless. It's actually the level of anchorless transport, as we call it. Clearly, when you're roaming or moving from one cell to another, handoff, et cetera, handover, it becomes actually very transparent as opposed to managing it the way we do today. Security is built in at the content level. Object-based security. It's built within the system. And the level of storage as well, the level of placement of content, the propagation of content, the caching is intrinsic to the system. So now I say, okay, well, ICN has been pretty much a university, research, Ericsson, Huawei, Nokia, and InterDigital and others looking at it. But how do we bring to market earlier? One of the things is how can we accelerate some of the pieces? Most likely in the next few months, Cisco will announce what we call hybrid ICN, which actually works within the context of an IP network. I'm not going to get into the details, but it leverages the IPv4, IPv6, RFC compliant packet formats. It's an upgrade to routers that actually bring some of the ICN elements to be able to, and it works, it preserves the pure ICN semantic at layer 3 and above in terms of clearly the content, content name, the content-based forwarding, the routing, the anchorless transport, and some of the object-based security elements. So all of those elements come together, and the benefits are here. By design, it's multicast. By design, it has a dynamic load balancing. By design, you can do in terms of video rate adaptation, the ABR piece. It's very, very much enhanced. And actually, we are showing some of those. We showed that at Mobile World Congress. It's not obviously in the market today, but it will be most likely this year. All of that has to be part of an integrated architecture. As I said earlier, let's talk about the evolution towards 5G. The steps will take to maybe 2, 3, 4 years to start really getting this. We see it today. Most of the traction on 5G, as you know, is actually based on big events. That's what drives it. What is the first country that's going to do actually 5G? Korea. Why? They have a Winter Olympics in 2018. KT and SKT have been working for it for years now. The next big one now is Japan, 2020, Summer Olympics. Europe just made, actually, the European Commission made a big announcement a few months ago. They will use the Euro Cup soccer in 2020 as well as actually a catalyst, since it's going to be run in multiple European countries, to use that as a vehicle also to get the infrastructure in place. So in the US, it's different. We don't have any of those events. We have our events, Super Bowl and so on, but not maybe to the same magnitude. Obviously, there's a number of players that have played on fixed wireless, Verizon, AT&T, although obviously it goes beyond that, but this has been one of the key drivers initially for 5G. And so the whole piece at Cisco is saying, yeah, radio is very important. It's critical, but there is more there's more than radio to 5G. It's really an opportunity for an enablement platform, both clearly in terms of capabilities for consumers, but also for industry and society. And on that side, on that front, the big opportunities will be in the enterprise and in the industry side, which has to do obviously with a lot of IoT, but also a lot of even fixed mobile convergence applications that we've talked about for many years, have not seen much so far. How do we actually onboard an enterprise that has devices or elements from multiple carriers? How do we onboard that? How do we do federated identity? How does my phone become a full citizen within my enterprise indoor environment, leveraging single sign-on and Active Directory? How those elements are very important. And you start seeing actually a number of enterprises, Walmart, Bank of America, retailers, Target, Rockwell, looking at what 5G can bring to their environment in terms of benefits and how can they leverage it. So to put that all together, you have to look at it holistically. Big security elements, big policy element that need to be federated across mobile and applications. Because for an enterprise, that's what matters. This is the applications. Mobility is only one way. Analytics, as we discussed it, for example, in the context of video, and being able to bring that in the context of a platform. So video, mobile, collaboration, they all come together. If you start seeing and look at the latest collaboration application, VR and AR, and so it's very important to do that. So in summary, the opportunities around video is to create new type of relationships with the subscribers, with the content publishers and providers, and obviously with the industry at large, and really monetize that as best as you can. Thank you.
All right, thank you, JL. It was great to hear your thoughts and learn about some of the innovative things you're doing at Cisco, and also your plans for the future. I certainly hope you plan to come back and visit us in the near future also. Now, what's your chance to win free prizes? That's the last thing we're going to do here. Well, not exactly free. We're asking you that you fill out the evaluation forms that you have at the desk. We certainly appreciate your comments. It certainly helps us plan for the next event. Amanda's standing back there at the door. Hey, Amanda. Okay. So if you please fill out the evaluation forms, give them to Amanda with your business card. We'll have a drawing tonight, and you'll win some neat prizes. So there's additional seminars this afternoon. Hope you will get out the opportunity to participate in those. And at 3:15 this afternoon, we're going to have a short meeting on the exhibit hall floor at the CCA booth with our associate members. Ron Whaley, the chairman of the associate member committee, will get together just briefly there at the CCA booth. And then at 3:30, we'll start the happy hour on the exhibit hall floor. At 3:30, we'll have drinks and lots of good things to eat. And we certainly want to thank Ericsson for sponsoring the exhibit hall happy hour. And just a little change in process. Normally, you get free gift tickets, i.e. drink tickets at the door. Well, this time you go visit Ericsson's booth and they'll buy you a drink. They'll give you a free drink ticket. So just go by Ericsson's booth on your way into the hall. You can't miss it. You'll get free tickets. And now it's time to proceed to the exhibit hall and where we're going to have lunch, and that is provided by Legato. One of our members has been so gracious to sponsor the lunch. So Legato, thank you, and thank you all for a morning session. Appreciate it.
I'll always keep keeping on. Fake friends, we don't take